Hey guys, I want to talk about a long forgotten skills Essence Drain plus Contagion combination. For me, it has been a couple of years since I last time even touched it. I just wanted to try it and see how it feels these days, and I actually made a very tanky Trickster. I'm actually surprised how tanky it feels. It feels actually really great mapping, but bossing damage is just not great. I have to use Blight for the bossing damage, and even then it's not too great. But however, I can just stand still and face tank most of the things actually. This is not a jug, it's not jug kind of tankiness, but it is very tanky because of the evasion, because of the energy shield and the energy shield recovery as a Trickster. And while mapping, it feels great, but still, the area of contagion is still not sufficient, I would say. And I did try to get a lot of increased AoE. Currently, I have 190% increased AoE for contagion. I believe my current contagion radius is, let me quickly check, it is currently 28 radius. You can get a lot more AoE, but all you would get is extra 2 radius. You would barely feel in practice. So I think the base radius of contagion is just way too small. The best part is you would think Legion. You just pop the Legion, like everything gets proliferated because of the contagion. However, it doesn't always happen like that. It's kind of weird how Legion rows sometimes are a bit too far away from each other and the contagion just does not reach. So this is probably gonna be a very quick video. There's not much bossing to show. It's not really a bossing build. You don't want to do even Guardians with this. You can do Guardians, you can do like Katarina. Probably could do even Sirius, but the fight would just take way too long and it's just not pleasant. So this is mostly focused on map clear. But I know what you're gonna say. For most of you, this kind of clear speed is not looking too good. And to be honest, yeah, for me it's also not looking too good. I would want more movement speed. My boots have 25% movement speed. My Quicksilver often expires. And I tried using shield charge, but I just ran out of support gems. I could not afford to use shield charge. I wanted to squeeze in Val Blight. I did a couple other changes. But in the end, I am using 4-link Val Blight. Does not need to be Val, but essentially my 4-link Blight does pretty much almost the same damage as 6-link Essence Drain inside the +2 body armor. So yeah, if you want like a actually good damage over time skill, probably Blight is better. As for the Crucible modifiers, I did try Essence Drain Crucible modifier, which essentially shoots an extra 2 projectiles. It doesn't really change how you play it. Essence Drain does have a small splash when it hits something, so you don't need extra projectiles. I did not try the Contagion Crucible, which only makes enemies shield, which doesn't really change anything either. It just slows enemies down a bit more. And then finally I tried the Blight modifier, which plus 200% increased AoE. So this 200% marks I assume does not stack. With this one modifier alone, I have to stand still and challenge for 4 seconds to get maximum AoE Blight. But you could stack these, I assume, and like get 100% increased AoE per second, so it would take only 2 seconds or even a bit more. But it's still not big enough. Yeah, that's what she said. And in the end, I think a 6-link Blight would do a lot more damage. If I show you my POB, the Essence Drain has like 1 million DPS only, and that's inside the +2 Carcass Jack. Now the Val Blight at maximum sustainable stacks has 974, so it's very close to Essence Drain. If I were to actually socket this inside the body armor and add a couple more supports, like faster casting and let's say control destruction, 2.3 million already. So Blight alone would have more damage than Essence Drain, twice more damage than Essence Drain. But then you would still have to figure out what else to add to supplement its damage. Maybe like, I guess you could still add Essence Drain or I don't know, Soul Rend, or maybe Casual Shattering Soul Rend. Or maybe even like get Crucible modifier for Blight and use Casual Shattering like Frost Blink or Casual Shattering Lightning Warp, something like that. But I still don't know what would you do about the single target damage. In general, I think Essence Drain Contagion is kind of outdated and I think needs a buff. I'm not sure if anyone would disagree that it needs a buff because the damage is just not great. It's so hard to scale Essence Drain and Contagion damage alone. You have to use something else to supplement it. And even using Blight on top of that, still does not feel like it's enough. Having only a bit over 2 million DPS combined with Essence Drain and Blight, and you also have to man the curse with Despair, and you also have to use Wither Totem, which expires after a couple of seconds, so you have to restart the roll debuffing enemy process. It just does not feel great for single target. Of course, you could get much more expensive weapons. The investment, I think, does not make sense because you're not getting enough damage out of your investment. For other builds, if you were to invest an extra like 10 divines, you would get a lot more damage. For this, you would get maybe 200k. Overall, the playstyle often feels like playing almost like any spellcaster, but once it hits like the whole screen and even more, then it feels very satisfying. That's like 50% of the time, maybe even less. Now, as for the defenses, this is Trickster. I do have spell suppression, I do have ES from Trickster, I do have the polymath and get the damage from the masteries, and I do recover life, ES and mana on kill, which feels absolutely amazing while clearing. The hard stopper as well, I think, is also really great if you don't have a lot of mitigation. I also do have Ghost Dance and over 23,000 evasion without the flask. I also have a bit of recover 50 energy shield when I suppress spell damage. Although I did mess up my spell suppression calculations something, and I have like 93% spell suppression when I'm not on full energy shield. But I could quickly fix that. I do have positive effective 1 Here's resistance right now. Overall, it's pretty tanky. It doesn't look like much, like looking at the physical mitigation and Here's is not that great, like 11k physical maximum hit taken and 12k Here's is not that great, but considering that I am often evading, it just feels great, and recovery also as well. But single target can be really sketchy, especially if the target is fast, very like aggressive, and you have to keep spamming like Essence Drain, then the Contagion, then the Blight, but oh wait, I also need to use Despair, and oh wait, I need to drop Wither, oh wait, Essence Drain expired, let's apply Essence Drain, oh wait, did I apply Contagion? Yeah, let's apply Contagion again, and now Blight, oh wait, the Wither Totem died, let's summon Wither Totem, use, oh, Essence Drain again. So the process feels kind of silly sometimes, and it feels like you're doing a lot of work to do a little bit of damage. As always, I will leave path for building import code in the description. I do like the build overall, I do like mapping with it, but the bossing is just kind of depressing with this. So yeah, if you got some build ideas, let me know in the comments below, because I am not sure what, I mean, I do know what I want to play, but whenever I try to plan it, it's like, oh, 100k DPS, that's not quite enough. So maybe someone has some wonderful build idea that could be viable and not too expensive. I don't want expensive builds. Well, first of all, I don't have much currency, like 3-4 divines. And I think that the build has to work even on a lower budget. If the build doesn't work on a lower budget and it only works on a higher budget, that means that the build is not good. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.